Hello, Fran here, and today I'm going to be going back into the wonderful world of MTGO Online with Odric Lunark Marshall yet again. Spoiler alert, he's my only deck currently, sorry about it. So our opponents are going to be Roalesk Apex Hybrid, Ayula Queen Among Bears, and Arcades Sabbath. So I didn't even know there was this older printing of Arcades. This one's all the way back from 1994, I believe, from Legends. So it's going to be quite interesting to see. This is like an OG Elder Dragon Highlander commander. So yeah, very interesting. We've got our opening hand here, a bit boring honestly, but it was the best that we had. At least we've got our land drop and some decent creatures.
What?
And we got our first commander down already as well. I do love a cheap commander, honestly. We'll have to see how fast she is.
No, not again. I've got to end this thing before it begins.
Oh geez. So that was referring to how we had Infect in our first ever MTGO game as well in the previous episode, and now it appears we have more Infect to deal with. So that'll be interesting. I've never actually played against Roalesk Apex Hybrid Commander deck either, although I believe I've seen an Ayula before. However, now that I've seen this Infect card, I'm getting the impression that this Roalesk with his proliferating might be Infect Tribal. Ooh. Thankfully Ayula just bit that thing's head off, so at least we don't have to deal with it right now. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, in particular for me, what this Arcades is going to do. With a commander like that, I can't honestly imagine that the deck is built around the commander, because he's got a very high cost and a seemingly not super relevant ability on him. So maybe we'll have to see what he actually has in store for us in that deck. Ayula though obviously is going to be quite aggro, bear tribal would be the guess, I'm sure. And looks like we're going to see some more land destruction also, and targeting the mono white when everybody else has green at the table. Charming. Well, I'll remember that. Don't you worry, Arcades. Fortunately, we do have our lands in hand as well, and we've got our ever lovely Aketris Monument. It looks like Ayula is a Roas supporter though. Another good monument. Honestly reckon those monuments are really solid in mono decks like Odric and Ayula. Although I guess the one I've seen the least is Hazoret's. It's not necessarily as good as the others. Maybe Kefnet's is... I think Kefnet's is alright as well actually. But anyway, we're going to get Bremas down, which I actually love this guy. It's very reasonable cost for those stats and all of those abilities. And it just helps us go wide, provides us vigilance. So this isn't too bad of a start. I do not know what that Arcades just cast. It seemed like the game didn't really show us properly. That's kind of weird. We'll have to see what that's about. But yeah, for now it seems like Ayula is focusing on our opponents, which again is exactly what we want to see, honestly. In particular the Arcades. Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe they've played against an Arcades before. But I'll say this now, the caricature arts and pictures that I used for the commanders in this episode were meant to be quite reflective of the play styles, and more so even the group chat. So do stay tuned for the group chat after in the post-game analysis. It's got quite a lot going on.
Arena sadness spiral.
Yeah, the Roalesk player in particular seemed to feel bad for themselves, felt like everything wasn't going their way, but you can see in the post-game analysis shots
Okay, you want a piece of me? Huh?
And honestly, who needs Godric, also known as George Clooney and Odric combo, when you can have Cindric, Cindy and Odric? Honestly, you'll see later why Cindric is a thing in this part. So, turns out this was the spell that they cast earlier, and it was a suspend spell. So I'm just going to bring it up on the screen there. I don't know what they actually used it to return. So thanks MTGO, but whatever it was, I don't think it was any of my permanents. So I guess we'll just have to see. Or, yeah, not in this case, I guess.
Gemma thinks she has seen a ghost.
I've just seen something really fucking scary in the mirror.
Where?
Oh my god, open that fucking door now. Nah, fuck this, I'm out of here. Get that fire exit door. I'm off.
So unfortunately, Arcades scooped. And again, there's quite a bit going on in the chat. Arcades seemed to feel targeted by Ayula and was getting frustrated with that. And just decided to leave and call it a day. At the end of the day, I get it. Magic can be frustrating sometimes, and if you know, for whatever reason feel like you're not enjoying yourself, then I can understand wanting to just not play anymore. A little bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Because I mean, I had no idea what they were trying to do with that deck. And I guess I never will. Well, I guess there's a small chance that I can encounter them again on MTGO. But anyway, let's move on. So, as well, Ugay, which is the name of our other player, the Roalesk, great name by the way, also isn't really feeling this game much. They have complained a lot and kind of said that they feel like things aren't going their way, hence why I kind of had them portrayed as sadness. But I tried to kind of be positive in the chat and encourage people not to quit, basically. Although I'm pretty sure that Ugay was telling me to attack them and that they just kind of wanted to be killed out the game, pretty much. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, I guess once one person scoops, it really changes the dynamic of the game. It's going to make it a lot harder for the rest of us to not have to attack each other faster anyway. So yeah, at the moment I'm feeling pretty good about my position against a potential 1v1 with Ayula, although Zendikar Resurgence is a very nice card. Fortunately we do have a generous gift, so we could blow that up before they're able to benefit from it. This was the thing as well, the Ugay player was saying when they played Sylvan Library, I think I said something like nice card, and then they said something like, oh, it will just get blown up, it always does, something like that. And it was just a bit like, oh, come on guy, like, try and have some fun. And with Sephara, we'll be in really good shape.
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Like, that hurt that badly that I felt the need to do that little bit there. Because honestly, like, when a player is basically saying that they want to die / be removed from the game, and you know, they've kind of given up, and then they use their possibly only counter spell to screw one player over for seemingly no reason. Like, I had been nothing but nice to him in the chat. It was just a bit like, why? Oh, she would have been so good and so useful for us right now. Would have been giving flying to the whole team and indestructible if we had another flyer out. But anyway, it is what it is. And now, because I chose to cast Sephara instead of blowing up Zendikar Resurgence with Generous Gift, this Ayula's going to get a huge Genesis wave here, which is very likely going to be a huge problem for us. We may seemingly have a decent board state here, but with Ayula's fighting ability, it can really just eat our key players. And unfortunately, I also auto-yielded and didn't even tap Mother to protect any of the creatures, so she unfortunately died without me being able to use her, which really sucked, honestly. Also having more of our lands blown up, and the Aketra's Monument got turned into a forest with a Song of the Dryads. So we went from a decent board position to now Odric and a bunch of 1/1 tokens with Vigilance. So how the tides can turn. Oh dear. Our chances aren't looking great right now, but you know, we're in top deck mode, so who knows, maybe we can draw something good that will help us pull it back a little bit. We do need to knock Yu-Gi out though, however, as soon as possible, because they're honestly not helping us at all. They are just kind of playing cards with no creatures, and equipment cards I should say, with no creatures. So they really are just kind of allowing themselves to be knocked out here. And I just feel like I want some revenge after that counter spell, to be honest. Felt quite bitter about it. We're just going to use our removal now as well to try and get rid of some of Ayula's biggest threats. Those being her Zendikar Resurgence and her biggest creature at the time. They did Maze of If our Odric, but we made sure to send all of our tokens in at Yu-Gi just to really try and make sure that they don't somehow survive.
You should cry. Sadness, no. KO.
So there we go. Now it's a 1v1, and Ayula has all of these creatures. She's got a Maze of Ith, and she's strip mining, and she's got a card that can let her play lands from the graveyard. So technically she could repeatedly remove lands from us if she really wanted to. And now she's Eternal Witnessing for Genesis Wave. Ooh. Gosh, okay. Anyway, so she's swinging all in at us. Fair play. We're just going to block what we can and keep our tokens back, because if there's some kind of draw here that could, you know, be like an Anthem, Angel of Invention would be great here. That would give all of our stuff like flying, lifelink, and some other keyword. I think she has Vigilance maybe, and then she would also give all of our creatures +1/+1. But unfortunately we don't. We do draw into a board wipe, however, so we're going to swing all in just to get whatever damage we can. I think I missed a token there. And then wipe the board, because honestly these tokens and Odric aren't really doing much for us right now. Might have been better to wait and to cast it later on, but I just went for it, honestly. I was in the mind space that I was very much not going to win this game, and with my hand being dead as well, I just thought if I don't cast this now, green being green, especially mono green, they might, you know, cast a kind of overrun type spell. I've had it happen before where I'm just like, oh, I've got another turn, I can survive another turn, and then all of a sudden all of the board gets like +3/+3 and trample or whatever, and suddenly you're like dead. So yeah, I board wiped anyway. They Genesis waved again. They got some things, only one creature seemingly, and some other bits and pieces, artifacts and stuff there that are pretty nice. But thankfully not, you know, some massive Eldrazi or whatever. I don't know what their complete deck list is, but I know that mono green decks seem to love running Eldrazi at times, so I wouldn't be surprised, even in a Bear Tribal deck. At this point though, drawing Basri, I really am kind of feeling like the writing's on the wall a little bit. Even though the board states are kind of not so bad right now, I don't know. We're literally in top deck mode. They've got some various cards to kind of enable card draw and much more lands and mana than us. And Ayula can just kind of still come down and be very threatening. But we're not going to give up like some of our opponents. We're going to play it out till the end and see what happens. So Ayula here getting her bear action on. Very nice. And Lifecraft's Bestiary, or yeah, Bestiary, is very nice. I have a copy of it, and I keep meaning to put it in a deck, and I think for whatever reason I haven't found the right home for it. A Sword of Feast of Famine as well. Goodness. But yeah, I need to use it somewhere. Chameleon Colossus. This will do it. I mean, this will really do it. The nice thing about this as well for her is that it's a bear. Because it's a changeling. So yeah, that's a really good card in Ayula for sure. At this point, I'm kind of just waiting to be destroyed. But we'll see. I mean, it's possible we could draw another board wipe. I don't know if I'd really want to just keep prolonging the game in that way, though. But at the same time, like I said, I don't want to give up. So let's see what we draw. Ooh, Crucible of Worlds. Masterpiece, I think that is. This might be a bit of a Lands Matter deck as well. Although, you know, being able to continually recur Strip Mine seems very nice. Okay, I know Revitalize is a bad card and it shouldn't be in pretty much any commander deck, but something I haven't mentioned until now, because this is my first ever Magic the Gathering Online deck, I didn't really want to spend tons of money making the deck, so there are some key cards that I would love to have that I don't, you know, like Land Tax, Smothering Tithe, whatever. I made a list of about like 10 cards that I had to cut for budget reasons, and I just put things in that I had just to get the deck going. And to my surprise, it does well. It's been, you know, doing fine even without these really nice strong cards. But wow, Eula's getting a gazillion triggers right now, so this really should be game over, honestly. Unfortunately, but you know, fair play to Eula. Like, this deck's done well. I like it.
Well, if the killer was in your house last night, why didn't he just kill you then? Because he's just messing with us. Don't you see? He's got us right where he wants us. We can't go to the police. He's just out there watching us and waiting for us. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Oh my gosh, I love it. That was kind of an overreaction, but they passed and didn't attack when they definitely could have killed us for lethal there. They did assure me in the chat that it was a mistake, and to be honest, especially in hindsight, I would be inclined to believe them. So I don't think that they were actually, you know, trying to prolong the game and, you know, be like dickish about it or anything. The Crossing Grip was perhaps unnecessary because I don't even have any white mana to use the Soul Snare, but it doesn't matter. Like, they can cast that, that's fine, and then they are actually going to swing for the lethal damage here, so we're going to take it. And that'll be a GG for our opponent, Ayula.
What am I waiting for? What am I waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Fuck you!
Oh my god! Sorry, I don't speak bear. Winner!
Alrighty, so that was quite a different game from our first one, the previous episode. Roalesk, as you're going to see here, honestly had a bit of a negative attitude. Kind of felt like as soon as they lost their infect creature at the beginning, they were pretty tilted. But it's like, if you play a strategy like that, you have to understand that people are going to react that way. They're going to want to remove your creatures and then remove you. especially when your commander can proliferate infect damage. So I don't know. Ayula, I really like the deck, seemed very well put together, very strong. I love a mono deck, and unfortunately for Arcades, we just didn't really get to see what they were doing, what they were about. I have no idea. I'm very much aware of the other Arcades, which one of my friends has in paper, and she did really well with it on a couple of occasions. It's very nice to have a kind of defensive value engine in there that turns a lot of toughness creatures into big beaters. So yeah, I guess the MTGO community can sometimes have a reputation for people just scooping quite quickly, or just when things don't go perfectly for them, and we've kind of seen that here for the first time. But you know, I do get it, and I'm not gonna, you know, get angry about it. I understand, and Magic is one of those games where no matter how good your deck is, or no matter how much time or money you've invested into it, you know, there is the luck of the draw element, and if you don't draw the right things at the right time, you can kind of feel out of the game or screwed over. And when it's not in person with people, it's probably a lot easier to just, you know, scoop up and try and join another game. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked it, and see you soon with another one. Bye!